All right, I figured I'd do a little update on the car. As you can see, it's definitely got some new rims and tires. There's quite a bit that I have done and have not videoed, either because of work or something else, but let's get into it. So obviously we got new rims and tires sitting there, and what we got is the engine in and wired up. Everything has been officially wired, fed, and now it's just the cleaning up process. I don't remember if we had the suspension in, but we have a CPP stage 3 suspension kit, the Pro Touring kit, so it's front and rear disc brakes, which have all been done. Currently I'm having an issue with my master. It was internally bleeding, so I have a new one on order. Luckily it's under warranty. Past from that, we're gonna go down and look underneath the car, because that's kind of where we left off. As you can see, we have the tank end that needs to be painted. The brake lines are all set up, just need to tighten down the holders, and my sway bar is in. So, fun fact, if you do subframe connectors, you typically can't do CPPs or any other ones that go to the frame unless you modify it. Now, this took me a while because I had to measure, cut, and get into place, and then get the subframe connectors in first. Once those were in and welded in, that's when I was able to go in and make my cuts on the brackets, put them in place, measure these side to side so it's even distance, and then from there, as you can see, I welded the brackets to the frame and the subframe connectors on both sides. Don't mind the fuel lines, I've got to put them up. The rear end has been rebuilt. I don't remember if that was done before, but that's 373 gears, super upgraded on the internals, new studs on the rear, and then the original drive shaft, but everything U-joint wise has been upgraded. I currently have part of the exhaust hanging down so I can get my O2 sensor in so I can do the learn. I went a step further to do disconnects. I don't know if anyone knows Deutsch connectors, but they are amazing when it comes to solid waterproof connection. Then I still have to mount my fuel filter. But past all that, once that's all done, I gotta go in here and repaint that part of the frame. The fluid's in, transmissions fluids in, the line for the Dakota Digital is hooked up, the overdrive is all hooked up for the shutdown, and then we have the wiring for the taillights, which I did LEDs that looked like factory, so I really like them. They're actually pretty bright. Everything's pretty much all been welded. There's a couple things that still need to be welded. I'm kind of determining if I want to weld this up or just seam seal like from factory, but I did weld one of the biggest rust points completely up because it just was not doing it for me. So I might weld those up too. I need to finish welding up in here, and then I know a lot of people don't like it, but I think I will end up welding this as well because I'm going with a strut. So I have this rod, so once I get it in place, I think I'm just gonna weld that rod in and then smooth it all out for finish. Same thing with down over here, where this was a big rust point. I'm gonna clean all this up and then weld that. Sometime this week I have someone coming by and we're gonna try to align the doors because we have one fender mocked up, but it's just kind of cockeyed mocked up. But as for engine bay, the engine is completely in. Everything's ran, fans are hooked up. Battery is technically ran. Don't mind that. We got the MSD additional add-on box. My other box is over here. Fuel pressure regulator from Holley. It's brand new. They had a recall on theirs, and mine didn't have an issue until one day it just started spewing out the wheat pole, so the diaphragm internally was busted. I did have an issue when it came to not charging. Because I'm doing two different systems, American Auto Wire and the Dakota Digital, everything was all set up a little funky. When it came down to it, realistically, the people that sent me the engine, which was Hot Rod Company, they don't deal with the accessories. They just buy them secondhand, which they're brand new, but they buy them. They're not stored in their facility. Buy them. I had an issue with it not charging. Well, run down a whole bunch of different things, why it's not charging, and I have no spot in. Oh, by the way, check it. We got the seat just kind of in. It needs to be reupholstered, but picked these up for like $100 with all window trims. Back to it. On the Dakota Digital, there is not a spot for the exciter wire, which would be this wire right here. It actually should, like old school, should be ran to a lamp, a bulb, or a diode, or like a resistor. So what I ended up doing was pulling the pigtail, and on the exciter wire, I put a 47 ohm 5-watt resistor in there. And then you just go back to the cabin where that's at. You just run that to an ignition source, so 12 volt ignition on only, and that solved the charging issue. So right now in the American Auto Wire, I just have to get a spade or get another additional service block, which I might do because there's a couple grounds that need to be ran. Past that, the engine is running. It runs really well. I went through the whole wizard setup finally and all of the other fun stuff. So I'm not going to start it up this video. I've just had it running, and I currently have a transmission leak from Bowtie's trans lines. So I just ordered some 6AN fittings and hoses. So I'm going to end up redoing that, probably losing some trans fluid, have to go get some more. But the flooring has been cleaned and lizard skinned, and as you can see, the dyno mat. Still need the other seat bracket for this, but I also lizard skinned and dyno mat the ceiling. The headliner's on order, so I can finally get the windshield in. And then after all that, seat has been modified with the new bracket. It's solid. So after all that, after I get the brake booster or the master cylinder in, bench bleed it, put it in, put my little radiator support brackets, kind of half-ass put the other fender on, I can take it for the test drive to get the pressure tests on the transmission, which I have the pressure tester right over here. So I just got to hook that up. From there, it's just putting it all together and getting it on the road. So in case people are going to ask, I went with, I don't remember, it's like a rally sport style, I guess, but I went with 245, 45 18s, and then for the rears I went with 275, 40 18s. And I still have not been able to set it on the ground to see which ride height I want to do yet, but I am pretty excited for that. So as what you see for now, everything has really been done. It's kind of a big jump. I apologize for that. If you guys have any questions on anything I've done or any questions on what you guys are doing kind of similar, I would be more than happy to answer. It's been a learning curve for me, a really big one. So I think at this point I've learned quite a bit on how to get the trunks, frame rails, and all the other stuff on these cars. I feel like I know this car top to bottom, or any second gens. realistically, it's not too crazy. It's been a fun process. Now it's just getting small touches, like my turn signal knob, the hazard knob on the other side. I forgot to pull this. I kind of went too far, so I'll probably pull the seat again and mask everything, sand that down, and then paint it so it at least is black. And then before the windshield goes in, I will clean all this up, paint that and the rail with the window sealant. From there, it's just going to be body work. Now, obviously, there's not a whole lot of body work considering everything's brand new. The biggest thing is these are the original doors. So these are going to need the most bit of body work. Past that will be like small little areas back here. That's going to get covered up. Past that, again, it's just the other door, and then maybe this little area is going to need some body work, as you can see. It is leaded and then metal filled, so then obviously just needs to go in and straighten out. Other than that, everything else is been moving along. We got our 2-inch cowl hood. I'm ready to put that on. I got to get another hood hinge. But past that, it's just about there. The only other thing I really need that's big purchase is the vintage air. So I'll probably just do a block plate for that for now and run it. Yeah. Holley Sniper 2 I've had no issues with. The ready to run distributor, I went with the full setup, so everything was just super simple, drop in, ready to go. So I'd definitely like to give a shout out to Holley for their systems and their fast timing on shipping out my new regulator. And past them, Cold Case, because this thing is amazing. Perfect setup, perfect fit. Deutsch connect both connectors. Just will have to make a small bracket that goes from here to the original, otherwise it can slide out. Other than that, the CPP suspension and braking system all seems very nice, with the exception of, you know, the master cylinder, but you know, things happen. Parts aren't made like they used to, so yeah, I think that's pretty much it for an update for now. The next video I'll probably post, it'll be running and hopefully pulling out of the garage, unless people want to see anything else and more in depth or more questions. Let me know. That's all for now.